John once lived to tell the story of the rain, sweat, glory of mic checks and men who fight the destination we were destined to end. Left the writing on the wall in the halls of the Nippon Khan. Others transformed, majority Decepticons. But my conception of the...
Here we are. We did it. It's unbelievable. It's the Wait for It Seattle podcast at C-Town Sports. And it's 1 year of podcasting.
1 year. Can you think of things that you've, 52 weeks.
You're going to say, what are things you've done for 1 year? There are a lot of things I've done for 1 year. Not a lot of healthy things, but yeah, I've done a lot of things for 1 year. Nothing like this. This is a good commitment by us.
Yeah. I didn't think most things flame out by this point.
Now I get like the texts from like teacher friends who are like, I told my neighbor about your podcast, and sadly I mostly get embarrassed by it. I'm like, this is like just a thing we do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, cause if you say to people, my wife like markets our podcast all the time. She's like, have you listened to Brian's podcast? And it just sounds like it's another bro of the podcast. Like, no, we're actually really good. We're really good at what we do. But I don't want to say that, so then it gets weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're called the Wait for It Seattle podcast. Maybe we'll remind our new listeners, because the original intent was before the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. Wait for It Seattle was the idea that we're just constantly waiting. And Kev, I thought about that in the context, at that time it was no Super Bowl. We still don't have a World Series by the Mariners. We didn't have an NBA basketball team, which we still don't. The Storm had won one championship when we first did Wait for It Seattle. I think now they won 3 since then. The Sounders have had a lot of success, so it doesn't quite apply. But I did think about the last year in the context of Wait for It Seattle.
Yes.
So we've been podcasting for a year, and Kev, like, nothing's happened good.
Wow.
So it kind of fits.
Yeah.
I was looking it up. I'm like, it's not horrible. It's not 2008 when it was a historically terrible year in Seattle. The Sonics left. The Husky football team went 0-12. The Mariners lost 100 games. The Seahawks were 4-12. I think I have all of those correct. But, everyone's kind of competitive, but nobody did anything.
Yeah.
No playoffs for the Seahawks, no playoffs for the Mariners. The Sounders got to the Western Conference Final, but they were like boring. The Storm lost in the first round of the playoffs, as we predicted. The Husky women basketball making the tournament, but then losing in the first 4 is like perfect for the year.
Yeah.
Like just a little bit of excitement.
But no, like, oh my gosh. We're like, could you imagine us after something really significant, like a Seahawks playoff run?
Yeah.
Or the Husky men's basketball team.
It was just a year before the Husky football team went to the national championship.
Yeah.
And I think 2 years before that, the Mariners broke their drought to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's been forever, but for our year of podcasting, it's a pretty average Seattle sports year.
So there's another Seattle sports podcast, Seattle sports podcast called the Fabulous Pelton Cast, and I listen to them every once in a while. Kevin Pelton does it, and they're sponsored by Pagliacci's, so we can't hit up Pagliacci's. They have 466 episodes.
Oh, so we got some. Well, Kevin Pelton's like a professional. He's like a professional. He's done professional writing. He's worked for ESPN.
Could you imagine though that many podcasts? Like, they don't do it more than a week. Like, it's kind of, I always remember this when you were telling me one time you were looking at the all-time career wins record for basketball, high school basketball, and Ed Peppel has like a ridiculous amount. I think Mike Bethea is like close now. I don't know.
Bethea has an insane winning percentage, but I think Peppel's still like way up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
crazy.
You'd have to be coaching the rest of your life.
Yeah. And even then it's like, nope. it's kind of sad. One thing so today's episode is going to be an ode to Seattle sports. We're not going to do our normal weekly rundown, but there is one thing I have to talk about to keep it as a memorial and a timestamp on this year, June 2nd, 2025. And that thing is a person, and that person has a big dumper, and his name is Cal Raleigh.
Okay, a week or 2 weeks ago, you asked me the pertinent question: How
Yeah.
many home runs is this guy gonna hit
Yeah.
before the All-Star break?
Yeah.
Okay, I said like 23. He has
Yeah.
20. Does he have 22 or 23? I'm
I
losing
also
track.
gave you a bad information on that one of how many games were left before the All-Star break,
It doesn't matter.
but it doesn't matter anymore. Like the numbers are irrelevant, right? Cal Raleigh has the major league lead at 23 home
He
runs,
has more than Aaron Judge.
and
Uh,
Shohei Ohtani, who are
okay,
both ridiculous.
this morning I saw something about putting down a bet. You can
Yeah.
put down a $10 bet for Aaron Judge and win like a quarter. You can put a $10 bet down for to win MVP.
Yeah.
Put a $10 bet for Cal Raleigh and win $1,000 or something.
Mhm.
I was thinking about it really hard. I'm like, how can I justify this bet? And it's like you're not betting because Cal Raleigh is gonna have a more impressive season than Aaron Judge. He's not. Um, but you're betting that Aaron Judge gets injured. But then I was thinking, what are the chances of that dude getting injured? He's just so massive.
Yeah.
Like I can't. It doesn't compute.
Right.
So, but that's not really celebrating Cal Raleigh. He's been ridiculous. Like Ken
It's
Griffey Jr.
silly.
The statistical comparisons of this much early success has been compared to the greats of, the Mariners.
Yeah.
A-Rod, Griffey, and he's catching
He-
too.
Kev, he hit 4 home runs in the 3 games this weekend.
Yeah.
He was projected at the beginning of the year to have 28 home runs. He has 23 right now by like the projection systems. He's breaking all norms. He's on pace for anywhere between 58 and 64 home runs. Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing right now? We are
And-
living in greatness.
And he hit him at T-Mobile. And there's some great pictures of him where he made contact with these baseballs.
Oh, yeah.
One of them he just golfed out. Like, it
One
was
is
just
at his
so
ankles,
low.
and the
Yeah.
other is above his eyes. Those are 2 of the 4 he hit this weekend. The dude, it's so awesome. And so I just have to celebrate Cal Raleigh. I think, this is the other thing. I had to read this to you. Okay. So just putting it in perspective, right? The Cal Raleigh information.
Yeah.
So Cal Raleigh right now has 23 home runs, 2025. Here's the most home runs in a season by a Mariners catcher. Ready? Last year, Cal Raleigh, 34. 2023, Cal Raleigh, 30. 2022, 27. Mike Zunino in 2017 had 25. 5th all-time Mariners history. Cal Raleigh right now, not even halfway through the year.
It's ridiculous.
He's in I think the best stat is there's no catcher in Major League Baseball history who has this many home runs through June 1st. So it was
Mike
through May.
Piazza, not Ivan Rodriguez.
Not Johnny Bench, not Yogi Berra, whoever you want to go to, the all-time great catchers in Major League Baseball history. Cal Raleigh's having the best season
It's
ever.
all the more impressive that he hit all these home runs at T-Mobile Park. It's all the more impressive that he's catching. He's not like playing designated DH.
Well, the combo with that is he's catching, but when he's not, most catchers get a day off, right? Like Mitch Garver caught yesterday. He DHs when he's not catching. So he doesn't really get a day off.
Yeah.
And he's played every game this year. Most catchers can't do that. Physically, they can't hold up. He's insane.
The last point is, I think he's safe. He's a jersey lock. Like if you buy his jersey, he's going to be good.
Yeah.
And he's not going to leave the Mariners because he just signed a long-term
I
extension.
think you just jinxed him, but thanks. I think the jersey thing is there's a lot of people wearing big dumper jerseys, so yeah.
I mean, I think
we're
they'd
fine.
sell more jerseys if it just said dumper on the back. Rather
You can
than
buy it
Raleigh.
at the
Okay.
Mariner Stadium. You can buy it says big dumper, but you can buy a jersey that says big dumper on it.
I mean,
How cool is that?
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. We're doing a draft. Drafts are fun. We're going to go back and forth. You're going to get the first pick because you're the baby of the two of us. And it's 10 rounds, technically 12 rounds, back and forth. We're drafting all-time Seattle sports athletes. Okay. 5 of your 10 players or athletes have to be one Mariner, one Seahawk, one UW Husky, doesn't matter what sport, one Sonic. Did I say that? No.
Yeah.
Seahawk, Mariner, Husky, Sonic, and one Storm. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't include that you have to have a Sounder. You could, or a Rain player, or
Kraken.
Kraken, because they're just newer in the history of Seattle sports. So you can draft them. And then we're just going to have our team of all-time Seattle sports as we're in our 1 year anniversary. We're celebrating
Can I pick
all-time Seattle
someone that
sports.
was born in Seattle or played high school in
No,
Seattle?
I think it's top 100 list-ish rules, right?
Got
So they
it.
have to play college or professional here. So not Brandon Roy, right? For example, not that you'd pick Brandon Roy, but he played in Portland and
Doesn't he
yeah.
count for the Huskies though?
Oh, sorry. That's a terrible example. You could totally pick Brandon Roy as a
Yeah.
Husky. Yeah, bad example. Bad example.
Okay.
Jamal Crawford. There you go. Can't pick
Yeah.
Jamal Crawford.
Yeah.
Um, you also have to pick one team all time and one coach. You can go in any order at any time, and I will track them.
Okay, great. My number one pick is Ken Griffey Jr.
Okay.
He was the first person who I
Who's
cried.
that? Tell me more about it.
I am an
Sorry.
alien.
I
Explain to me who Ken Griffey Jr. is.
I
He
cut
was
off your emotional moment. I
the
apologize.
greatest player of all time in
Mm,
baseball for a 10-year period in the 90s. I cried when the Mariners traded him. I didn't
mm.
understand. He
Yeah.
just wanted to win somewhere else because I think he had accomplished everything he wanted to in Seattle. It seemed like a very
Well, he didn't accomplish a World Series, so he didn't accomplish,
exactly, but I don't
and he never won one. So
yeah, and maybe he felt like it was never going to come. Ironically, the following year they won 116 games and
no, no,
probably
no, no,
got
no,
the
no, no, no,
2
no, no.
years
That was
ago.
after A-Rod. That was
Yeah,
after A-Rod. We
yeah,
went Griffey and A-Rod back to back here. Actually, I think if I have this right, it went Randy, Griffey, A-Rod
yeah.
back to back to back, traded away or signed away,
Yep.
which is
So
insane.
Griffey, would you have picked Griffey with your first pick?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
easily.
My first pick. This is a hard one.
Already?
Yeah, because I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna go with my heart. It's Gary Payton.
Oh, nice.
I just like Griffey. I was 10 years old when he was a rookie, and I remember watching his very first game, hitting a double in his first at bat off the left center field wall in Oakland. I remember I have a lot of Griffey memories, so I would have gone Griffey number one,
Yeah.
right? Gary Payton is probably the second player I have the most memories. They're usually involving Sean Kemp, like the alley-oops, but yeah, as a kid who loved basketball, Gary Payton was the best.
Did you
Draft.
like his defense? Did you like the way he talked trash?
Yeah, I
Did you
think it was his swagger, right?
his
As a
swagger?
kid who didn't have swagger, Gary Payton's swagger was awesome. And yeah, his defense was great. As I got older and I appreciated basketball more, like his defense is amazing. Then you throw in the fact that he evolved so much as a player. He could not shoot when he came in the NBA, and he
Hmm.
taught himself to shoot, became a good shooter, good post-up game. Like he's a great example of improving yourself as a player, which I think happens more in the NBA than any sport.
Yeah.
There's so many dudes that come in and you're like, will this guy be any good? And 3, 4 years down the road, they are major contributors. I mean, you could look at the NBA right now, like Jalen Williams on the Thunder, who was pretty good as a rookie out of Santa Clara, but now he's a dude.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Pacers are just full of those guys, right?
yeah. Do you think
Um,
Gary Payton's going to come out and start cheering for the Pacers
I don't
actively?
think, yeah, he's definitely anti-Thunder. But I think he's just so excited for hopefully some expansion news in a
Yep.
month or so. So, all
Yeah.
right, we're gonna go back to you. We'll just alternate.
Okay. I am gonna go. Wow. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson.
Oh, wow. This is why people hate us.
Yeah, the greatest Seahawks quarterback of all time. Led
Yes.
the Seahawks to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
I think 90% of his teammates would say he was a great leader and a good teammate. The other 10%, I think the people that are calling him a bad teammate, they themselves were bad teammates.
Mm. Oh, hot take.
And then I just think that when he was at his best, he was by far one of the best players in the NFL. The Seahawks won so many games during that run that they were not supposed to win because of Russell Wilson's play in the fourth quarter or the last 2 minutes. Like if the Seahawks had the ball with the game-winning drive, like I would bet that they would win that game. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I do think that Russell Wilson is just criminally underrated and people treat him I, it's ridiculous. I think the way people are treating his legacy is just insane. He led the team to a freaking Super Bowl and they
I'm just
won.
I'm just letting you go off. I love it.
Yeah.
Here's why I love it the most. I was watching Russell Wilson highlights today.
Oh, yeah. What's your
I
favorite highlight?
there's too many.
Yeah.
That's what Kev, people were mad at us in our top 100. I wouldn't even call myself a fan of Russell Wilson. Like when I go watch him now, I'm not rooting for him.
Yeah.
But in the Seahawks time, he brought me so much joy and he brought so much winning. I don't know how else
Yeah.
to say it. I think if he doesn't throw an interception in the second Super Bowl, he's revered forever. I think
Yeah.
that broke everything about the franchise. I'm curious if he's maybe even still here, right? There's a
Yeah.
sliding doors moment as Bill Simmons talks about in his podcast. Like what happens if this happens instead of this?
Yeah.
Um, I I don't know if I would take him where you took him, but I'm with you on the Russell band. Like
Yeah.
he's
The
underappreciated.
if you ever want to feel good or happy as a Seattle sports fan, put on the NFC Championship game against the
Oh yeah.
Packers. Wilson was having a horrible game
Yeah.
and a horrid game, one of the worst games of his career on one of the biggest stages. But then he was mentally strong enough to lead the team to victory, right? In
Yeah,
the
I think my
final
favorite highlight to
fourth
answer your
quarter.
earlier question,
Yeah,
now that you bring it up, is the bomb to Jermaine Kearse that won the NFC Championship game. Like, how
yeah.
many championship games in NFL history ended on like whatever
A Hail Mary.
48 yard touchdown pass? Not quite a Hail Mary, but a
Yeah,
48-yard touchdown pass. It's a walk off, like
yeah. Or how
stupid.
I
After the comeback, that was
yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, the fade away opposite field 2 point
Oh
conversion.
yeah, everything about that game, even though he was terrible up to it, it was pretty good.
Yeah. So I just
Yeah, Russ has a lot of highlights for me.
yeah.
Um, okay. Well, I'm gonna see this. My roster's flawed already, but I'm taking Sue Bird
Oh yeah, that's a great
because
pick.
I'm just going back to back point guards. But I don't know what our roster's trying to do, so I think it's fine. We're just looking at vibes and awesomeness, so that's our criteria. I mean, Sue Bird won 4 championships and is the WNBA all-time assist leader. And this is my bias as a basketball coach for a long time, and point guard being the position I see basketball through. She's a better point guard than Gary Payton. Gary Payton was a more dominant basketball player at his peak.
Yeah.
Sue Bird is the best point guard I've ever seen, men or women. The way she
Yeah.
distributed the ball, it's beautiful, beautiful basketball.
And I
And
think
she's awesome on her podcast. Like
yeah.
her post career is great. Her vibes are awesome. Like, what can you not? Who doesn't like Sue Bird? Like, there's nobody out there hating Sue Bird, right?
Nope, nope. I highly encourage everyone if you have the ESPN library, I don't know what it is, but uh for I went on the Sue Bird she has her own mini series where she goes
So
and
yeah,
interviews athletes. She goes and interviews Paige Beckers, her old coach Gino. Um she just does all these interviews and it's awesome. And
yeah,
she's a great personality and a great person. Uh I like that she's stuck around Seattle
yeah.
and
She's from New York, right?
yeah,
Like, you think about Stewie going back
yeah,
to New York, and I don't hate her for it, although it really is a bummer, because it changed the Storm franchise forever. But Sue Bird made a home in Seattle, even though she still loves her New York roots, and it's very cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, back to you.
I'm gonna front load this. I'm also gonna grab Ichiro.
Oh, he's going for a second
Yeah, I'm gonna go for
Mariner.
two
First
Mariners.
wild card spot off the board.
Yeah, yeah. So I love Ichiro. Um, he's one of the greatest hitters in the history of baseball. Um, he also had the swagger, like he had this like mystique about him. Some of it's just him not being from the United States. Uh, but another part of it is just Ichiro, the longevity of him
Hmm.
being so consistent, hitting 300, getting 200 hits, getting a gold glove, seemingly every season. And this is the problem. Like the Mariners sucked during much of that time. And so it kind of stinks that him, like so many other great Mariners during that era, um, they didn't get the national um respect after kind of the shock of it all, right? Like,
Yep.
but what's beautiful about Ichiro's career is you flip the back of a baseball card and you see like nothing changed for 10, 12 years when he was wearing a Mariners uniform. He just did amazing things. Like, and then there's random things that he did, like hit a cycle at the All-Star, hit for the cycle at the All-Star game, hit a game-winning home
He
run.
didn't hit for a cycle
No,
at
no,
the
no.
All-Star game.
Sorry. Inside the park home run. Inside the park home run. That would have been ridiculous, right?
Yeah, they don't even
Um,
get four at bats anymore.
People talk about his hitting, but like his fielding, ridiculous.
Yeah,
I can't think of
his
anybody.
fielding has
Yeah.
almost more iconic moments in
Would
Seattle
you
sports
say
history.
Griffey or Ichiro was the better
Griffey,
defensive outfielder? Okay, Griffey.
Griffey.
Yeah. I mean, the
I don't know.
dude
I don't know the
injured himself.
numbers. Yeah, I don't
Griffey
know
injured
the
himself playing
right,
defense,
right.
right?
Griffey's peak stuff was stuff. I mean, it's not that people hadn't seen it because Jim Edmonds was really
Yeah.
amazing for the Angels at the same time, and there have been other players who were amazing, but
Yeah.
I don't know. He was so electric. Ichiro was very fun, but you almost didn't get some of that stuff till after he retired, or if he did a commercial. He
Yeah.
was he was he didn't always show it to everybody while he was playing. So
But that's like his style. I mean, like Marshawn Lynch, and I think much of it is through the lens of the press. But if you talk to Ichiro's teammates, or if you get quotes from Ichiro's teammates during that same time period, everyone's saying like the nicest things about him, right? Like I feel like sometimes there was unfair expectations placed on him by the media, not by you. I'm not saying by
yeah,
you
yeah.
at all, but by the
Oh,
media.
I had unfair
Yeah,
expectations for
yeah.
sure.
But now it's, you
Ichiro
know,
just didn't care that I had unfair expectations.
yeah,
He didn't care what
yeah.
mine were.
I mean, the dude
Yeah.
won't even sign autograph. Sorry, he's signing autographs in private. At least he's signing autographs.
Wow, you're a real Ichiro defender. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna snag the 2013 Seahawks.
Shoot.
I'm just going straight to the team.
Yeah.
Uh, I
Great.
mean, there are other teams, obviously, right? You have four Storm championship teams. You have the
Yeah.
Sounders championship team, you have the Sonics of 1979. You got these different Mariners teams that did win a championship, but come on. The 2013 Seahawks, 13-3, the tip in the NFC Championship game, the 43-8 shellacking in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. You know
You
the
can't.
best part of it all? Uh, I don't know what it was like to be in Seattle when that was happening. I was in
It was
California,
it was amazing.
but I could wear a Seahawks hat and
Yes.
people would respect me, right? People would be like, "You guys are so freaking good." Like, there's
Even
no,
there, yeah. Oh, you were in Southern California
yeah.
then, right?
I mean,
Yeah, it's
that's
a little different. If
probably
you're in the
what,
Bay, I think it would have been harder.
yeah, that's probably what it feels like. I don't know what the equivalent would be like an Alabama football fan for someone that's from
It
Alabama,
Yeah,
right? Like,
no, I think
people just know.
it's the closest we got. I remember
Yeah.
working at prep as a teacher, and every Friday was Blue Friday, and they say it's still Blue Friday, but people don't wear their Seahawks gear. Every person in the school was wearing Seahawks stuff. Every teacher had a jersey or a sweatshirt. I mean, I'm exaggerating. It's probably not
Yeah.
every, but it felt like everybody. You'd walk around town. I mean, my wife would wear it. My kids, well, Lincoln was like 3, but he'd wear a Seahawk jersey, a Russell Wilson jersey. Like it was a thing. It was a thing. It was incredible.
Brian, at church, at
Yeah.
any church in Seattle,
Yes.
where, I mean, the worst you could wear at church is maybe jeans and a polo. People just wear freaking Seahawks jerseys.
People wore jerseys to my church all the time. The priest would preach, and in his homilies, he'd always talk about the Seahawks. And one of the Eucharistic ministers was this guy. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, he wore a red Niners polo every weekend, which was kind of awesome. I appreciated his commitment to it. Seattle's pretty lax if you go to formal functions, right?
Yeah.
Including church, but so you'll see more relaxed atmosphere, but you're right. You can go now. I don't see, I mean, people are
Yeah.
watching the game, but they're not
Well,
dressing up
you
like
know what
that.
I also loved about the Seahawks is the bootleg market for merch.
Oh, yeah.
During those two playoff runs, like there would be booths out open on the corner and you'd buy something that would never say the Seahawks. It'd just be Seattle
Yeah, yeah.
football with like the
Yep.
navy blue and you'd have like maybe a number back. I just
Yep.
loved it.
Yep.
Everything about it was great. So
It's great.
we got to get back to Seattle. That's what we're living now, where we can't go get bootleg merch off of the
Oh,
site.
you can. Well, I just went to the Sounders game today. There was all kinds of bootleg merch out on the concourse, let me tell you. All right, you're up.
God. Well, you've created a run on best teams, and unsurprisingly, I'm going to get the 1991 Huskies.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even name
Yeah,
them as one of them.
yeah.
That's a good one.
I'm going to get the Don James Huskies that want a share of the national
Now,
championship.
Kev, how much of that team have you watched?
Um,
Like, have you watched a full game or just like a
I've
long,
watched it.
well, not the national Rose Bowl.
Well, the Rose
Yeah,
Bowl.
yeah, when they beat Michigan
Yeah, where they beat Michigan
with Mario
on,
Bailey doing the Heisman. Yeah.
right?
Mark Brunell and Billy Joe Hobart split time at quarterback. Napoleon Kaufman was a running back. Mario Bailey is a receiver. Steve Ettman on the defensive line. Yep.
Keith Gilbertson in his first season
Yeah.
was the OC.
This
And
is I mean what's happening here too. It's interesting that you're naming things like in my prime childhood,
yeah,
but it was such a night. Think about this for a second. Gary Payton drafted 1990, okay?
yeah,
Talked about him. Uh Griffey was a rookie in 1989. The Huskies, that football team is 1991,
yeah,
right? Sean Kemp comes in 1990. I mean, the Seahawks sucked at that point,
yeah,
but it was like such a cool time to not win anything. Well, the Huskies won, but to just have all this excitement in Seattle.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Can I just
nine.
say I'm looking at the schedule right now, which is
Yep.
really cool, but some of these scores, I'll just go through it. I'll just go through it really quick.
Okay.
At Stanford, 42-7. At Nebraska, number 9, 36 to
That
21.
that was a big game. I
Kansas
remember that.
State return home 56-3.
Oh, boy.
Arizona 54-0.
That was a big one.
Toledo 48-0.
Toledo. Why did they play Toledo in the middle of the year?
October 12th.
That's so weird.
I know they played Stanford and Arizona at the start. At Cal 24-17, number 7 Cal. Then to Oregon 29-7.
I don't remember Cal being good then.
Arizona State 44-16. This was the closest game. At USC 14-3. Which totally makes sense in November.
Probably Todd
Guaranteed.
Marinovich as quarterback for the USC, I'm guessing.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess Todd Marinovich.
At Oregon State 58-6.
Mm.
Wazoo Apple Cup 56-21. Versus number 4 Michigan 34-14. Everyone talks about the defense, which rightfully so. The defense
Yeah.
is why they were able to get these blowouts. But for any offense to put up 50 points like 3 different times and then go in the Rose Bowl and win by 20, come on now.
The offense was
team-
awesome.
That team was awesome. I need someone that lived in that era to tell me that they were that much better than Miami. Like, I
I
can't
did
make
live in that era.
statement.
Why are
Well,
you?
Can you credibly say they were that much better? Like,
Yes,
and they should be the consensus.
yes, yes.
Okay.
People in Miami don't think that, right?
Yeah.
They think that team was amazing. I absolutely can say that.
Yeah.
It was a East Coast bias towards Miami. Miami was in an era of like very cool, and nobody knew who the Huskies were. That was a time where, you wouldn't have a 7 p.m. ESPN game as the number 2 team in the country as the Huskies, right? You would play at 12:30 and it'd be like regional, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
I have
nobody
the
was
game times in front of me. The latest game they played was the Nebraska game at 5.
that was a big one. That one was seen by a lot of people. That was a huge game. Obviously, Nebraska was
yeah.
ranked 9th in the country. Isn't it the next year the Huskies went into Miami, or is it 2 years
The
later?
whammy in Miami.
Yeah, it's not the
I
next
don't-
year.
I don't
I'm
know.
looking at it. It's not the next year. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. the Huskies they were insane.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear anybody talk about Miami. It's not.
Yeah. This
I'm not
team
here
was a
for it.
lot different than the 2023 team because this team was kicking ass. Like
Yeah,
this team and the 2023 team, they
they
were
won a
winning by
lot of
like
close ones.
close
Yeah,
games,
they
right?
won a lot of close ones.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
What's
But
weird is like if you look at the Husky quarterbacks in '91, I had a bigger memory of Mark Brunell sharing time with Hobart, but Brunell was hurt, and so he only threw 44 passes on the season. Billy Joe Hobart was really the quarterback that year, and he had
yeah.
22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's not all that. That's probably why people talk about the defense. But they had, they just had, oh, Napoleon Kaufman was young. He only had 300 yards. Jay Barry, 718. Bino Bryant was a running back, 943. They just had dudes. I mean, they were just insane.
Yeah.
The defense was really, really good.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy. They had 22 interceptions on the season. That's a lot of interceptions. That's kind of crazy. All
They
right.
had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 NFL picks.
Yeah. Yeah, they were crazy. All right. So you picked your team.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I could pick a Seahawk. I could go. I already have a Sonic. I guess I can go anywhere right now, right?
Hmm.
Heck, it's hard when it's like, wide open. I got Gary Payton, Sue Bird in the 2013 Seahawks. So, I'm looking between, I got Edgar, I got Randy. Um, you know what? Vibes are important to me. Felix Hernandez.
There you go. I
I
mean, you
had to
named
do it.
your
I had to
child after
do it.
him.
Well,
Yeah.
named inspired by. I think it's weird if you say named after, so I've said inspired by, which is true. We didn't, name him. We weren't that
It was
obsessive,
a
but
good name, and Felix
it was a
Hernandez just happened to be the best pitcher in
he
Seattle
and
at the
and
time.
I will tell you, there are times in your life where you're obsessed sounds too creepy, but Marshawn Lynch, I was Griffey, Peyton, like just I didn't want to miss anything they did. And Felix was like that for me. Every time he started, I had to find a television or go to the game. Just loved his aura, as the kids say, his swag, and just he was at his peak. Unbelievable. The fun part about Felix Hernandez, I learned later, has nothing to do with baseball, is that they called him Fifi in the dugout in the clubhouse. That was his nickname. And when my Felix was young, we didn't know that. We didn't know that was a nickname. Somebody came up with Fifi and he started being called Fifi. And then my Felix got to an age, 2 years ago, he's 10 and he's like, I don't want to be Fifi. It's not cool. It's back. All his AU basketball teammates love it. I mean, I've watched him play today. Like, Fifi, I'm open. Like, everybody calls him Fifi. It's just a great nickname. And I'm happy that he has the same nickname as the great Felix Hernandez. So there you go.
Yeah.
I just wish, I mean, people have said this before. If he could have just pitched in a playoff series, that's
Yeah.
such a bummer. Like, there was some bummer. We should do this on a podcast. Top 5 bummers. Sonic's moving is number one. But Felix Hernandez not pitching in a playoff game is pretty high.
Yeah.
Just to have that opportunity to see him come out. When he came back for the playoff game 2 years ago and they did the intro with him and he threw out the first pitch.
Were you crying?
Oh, yeah. And my older son, Lincoln, who's not into baseball, I think I've said this on the podcast before, turned to me and was like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in a live
I mean,
event.
just the energy.
Oh, it was incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there too. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
just
back
gonna
to you.
go straight to Brandon Roy,
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
greatest Husky basketball players ever, if not the greatest. I think there is an argument to be made for Isaiah Thomas. Both of them made it to Sweet 16s. Brandon Roy,
Wait, do you
played-
think Brandon Roy's the best Husky men's basketball player ever?
yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
I think he is. I think he is, arguably.
I mean, I think it's a good argument. Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think. Would I go Isaiah Thomas? So I just stuck in my head as the Isaiah Thomas game winner in the Pac-12 championship game with Gus Johnson. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard not to beat.
Yeah.
Um,
Brandon Roy had some buzzer
But Brandon Roy
beaters.
was awesome.
I'm sure he had a couple game winners.
yeah.
He played the game of basketball so smooth
Oh, so smooth.
and it
Yeah.
was so natural. He could do everything on the court. I mean, you hear coaches say you can do everything, but he could do everything well. He was easily one of the alphas on the team.
Yeah.
Um, I was listening to a podcast um, interview of Ryan Appleby on Mason Kelly's podcast, and uh, uh, Appleby was asked a question of something that's
Wait, of course you were listening to a podcast
yeah.
with Ryan Appleby.
I was
Go
interested.
ahead.
It was a good interview, and so then he started talking about how Brandon Roy had a lot of people were poking weaknesses and trying to come up with a weakness of his game going into his senior year.
Oh,
Where, of
for
course, he took
sure.
off.
Yeah.
And one of the things was the outside shot,
Yep.
and Appleby's just said he just decided he was gonna just be a good shooter, and he wasn't the type of guy that went into the gym like an Isaiah Thomas and had to work their tail off to become a shooter. Brandon Roy was just a shooter. He simply just shot more during the games and the ball went in, right? And I just
Wait, are you saying like his senior year he just decided to shoot more to prove he could shoot?
no, I'm not saying that
Oh.
was the reason, but like he was a natural at it, as natural as you could be. And I do think there's an
I mean, he
element
was
of,
as
like,
natural as anybody we've seen
Yeah.
play basketball in
Yeah.
Washington. Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah. So did you see him in high school at all? I know Garfield
no.
was 4A.
Yeah, Garfield was 4A, and I knew who he was, and no, not really.
Yeah.
Didn't coach against him. I was just looking up his college stats.
He's another big what if. Like, what a bummer that his NBA
Well,
career
so
got
in
short.
fairness to what Ryan Appleby talked about,
Yeah.
his junior year, he averaged 12.8 points per game on that team.
Yeah. I mean, that's
And then-
just the fact that there were so many guys on that team, right?
He only started 5 games. He started 31 as a sophomore, averaged about the same amount of points. I think he was battling his knee stuff as a junior.
Yeah.
Because he only played 24 minutes a game. His senior year, he shot 40% from three. He started shooting 3 threes a game instead of under one. He got to the free throw line more, and he averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists a game, which is crazy. And he was an All-American. He was the All-Americans that year.
JJ Redick, Adam Morrison.
No, wait, what? I think I lost it. Oh, here it is.
JJ Redick.
Yeah, you're right. JJ
Adam
Redick,
Morrison.
Adam Morrison, Randy Foye from Villanova, and Sheldon Williams from Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually not a great pro group. That group didn't look great all time.
3 out of the 5 guys.
I mean, the year before
Productive
was
careers.
like,
or no, 2 out of the 5 guys.
the year before was JJ Redick, Chris Paul, Andrew Bogut. I mean, you're right. I guess every year there's always, it's kind of an interesting thing. We're getting lost here.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it back to me?
Yep.
Man. I'm just staying with vibes. Who are
Not
also like top 100.
necessarily.
I'm going Marshawn Lynch. I'm taking him. Like I
dang
just, no one. I talked about Russ before, but no one has brought me more joy
Yeah.
watching them play football than Marshawn Lynch. No one has more Seattle Seahawk memories seared into my brain than Marshawn Lynch. I was thinking about, I looked at our top 100 list kind of in preparation for this and kind of thinking about who we have a lot of Hawks on there, by the way.
Yeah.
There's some defensive players who have some memories, and Russ has some memories. But when you said, like, what's your favorite Russ memory? I mean, I could tell you 3 Marshawn ones right now, right? That are just insane. 2 of them are Beastquake and Beastquake 2.0. Like,
Yeah, no one talks about Beastquake 2.0 either.
Dude, that one was
Against the
insane
Cardinals.
against the Cardinals.
It's
Oh
like,
my
how
god!
did Chris Collinsworth get both of those calls?
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
multiple Sports Emmy Award winner.
Yeah, true, Kev. True, Kev. I don't think I need to say anything else about Marshawn, nor do you need to hear anything else. So I'm
No.
back to you. Back to you.
Okay, can you give me a recap of?
Yeah, you have Griffey, Russ, Ichiro, 91 Hawks, and Brandon Roy. So you don't have a Storm player. You don't have a Sonic. You have a Husky. You have a Seahawk. You have a Mariner. So you've got 3 of those, and you've got your wild card. You could pick a coach. You got your team. So you're really pretty open. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, there's tons of Sonics.
I mean, I'm gonna take Pete Carroll. I think
Oh,
that's
okay.
the easiest. I mean, of the modern, when we say modern, 90s and 2000s,
Yeah,
I think he's the one coach that has had the most success. I think he's the best Seattle sports coach of all
I,
time.
I
That's
agree.
professional. Um, and he was just such a positive force for Seattle. Um, just a positive guy.
Yeah,
I I
his
wish him the best in Las Vegas, honestly.
his interview with Brock and Salk recently, talking about why it didn't work in Seattle, and he was basically like, I had, too much say, and I thought John Schneider deserved more say. How much of that is totally his version or not? It doesn't matter. Like his whole interview was basically like, I love John Schneider, and I think he's awesome, and I want him to shine.
And he's classy. It's just a
He's so classy.
classy
He's
type of
he's
thing.
awesome. He's awesome. That really leaves a lot of coaches for me to take later, which is interesting. Um,
You surprised I didn't take Don James?
yeah, that's my dilemma, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait on that one. Let's see. I have Felix, Peyton, Bird, 2013 Seahawks, and Marshawn. That's a fun list. It's tough. I mean, why wouldn't I take Sean Kemp?
Yep.
I have Gary Payton. I feel like I need Sean Kemp to go with him. So, um, I'm definitely picking people who just have. This is gonna sound exaggerated, but I think sports fans will recognize this. Like they changed my life in terms of the sports viewing experience. Watching Sean Kemp, Felix Hernandez, Marshawn Lynch play their sport was appointment viewing, right? Sean Kemp, for those who didn't live through the Sean Kemp dunk era, I'm so sorry. There's there's not really a good comparison.
Okay, so
Certainly
Blake Griffin was
Blake
often
Griffin.
that was
Blake
his
Griffin's the best
comparison.
comparison. So I was gonna say now, right? I was thinking, John Moran has a couple dunks here or there, but John Moran never plays. Blake Griffin in his prime is actually a better dunker than Kemp, but it's the same type of thing where you would just hope you'd see one that day. The stuff he did was insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sean Kemp was awesome. All right, back to you.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Lauren Jackson.
Yeah. I mean,
I
a
think
four-time
I mean,
MVP.
yeah, right? I freaking put myself on a like sorry, I put myself on a cross saying that she was like top 10 Seattle sports athlete of all time.
Yeah,
For
we're just
MVPs.
fighting the misogyny of the sports world.
But the funny thing is, people weren't fighting about Sue Bird. So I wonder like why. And I think it's because Sue Bird is just known.
Don't you think it's recency bias too?
I agree. I agree.
Which
Yeah.
is weird because we also got Largent stuff, so it went
Yeah.
the other way. Like the recency bias went the other way because people were mad about Russ leaving, and they like didn't remember how awesome he was.
Yeah.
Um,
I
or maybe it's just how sports arguments go.
also Lauren Jackson reposted us
Oh
on
yeah, that's right.
on
Shout out to
Instagram.
Lauren
So
Jackson. You
she's
made the
so
list.
cool.
Yeah.
And she was Australian, like from overseas, and she won multiple
Yeah,
championships.
four-time MVP, right? Isn't that what she
Yeah.
is? Like
Yeah, I need to get
silly
a
numbers.
Lauren Jackson jersey.
We need to have her on the pod.
What would
She's
we
on the
talk about?
list.
Yeah.
Oh, what do we talk about? Everything.
Yeah.
I'd talk about pick and roll coverage, pick and pop versus pick and roll on offense. I'd
What
talk
it's like
about
to play basketball really old. Although she wouldn't like it. Shouldn't
yeah.
say it
You
like
should
that.
say it just like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. Um, should I continue with vibes? Let's see. Man, there are a lot of Huskies that I want to take, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go Napoleon Kaufman.
Wow.
I mean,
Out of all of them,
oh
that's
yeah.
you?
I loved him so much.
Yeah.
Um, Napoleon Kaufman's ability to make people miss. It's the closest thing Seattle's ever seen to Barry Sanders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody's Barry Sanders. I mean, go look at Barry Sanders' college numbers, by the way, if you want to be like, what the hell? Um, yeah, Napoleon Kaufman was the best. Again, I think my theme, like if I had a team name, it would be appointment viewing. That's my team name. These are just people that I wanted to turn the TV on. So
Yeah.
you're up.
How many do I have left? And do I have any positions to fill?
You have 7 spots. You have 3 left. Well, that's
Yeah.
not true. You have 5 left because of a coach. And so you have a Sonic. You still need a Sonic. And then you can go whoever else you want in Seattle sports history.
I mean, I think I have to go with Ray Allen.
Oh,
I mean, I could have plucked someone from like the 80s or 70s, but you'd get no passion for me
yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
wasn't alive. So I
Not
was
to mention,
alive.
Kev, like they're not. This is gonna be blasphemy to the old timers. It sounds like Gus Williams is really fun to watch. A lot of people liked watching Jack Sikma,
Fred Brown.
Downtown Fred Brown. My dad used to talk about him all the time. But like Downtown Fred Brown was not as good as Ray Allen. Like, get out of
Ray
here with
Allen
that.
is,
Ray
I
Allen was
mean,
awesome.
Ray Allen was the best shooter of all, I think one of the best shooters of all time before Curry came on the scene.
Yeah,
And
he
they
was
kind
in
of
the.
weirdly
Yeah,
crossed over. And sometimes I think of these 3-point shooters in like, would their legacies have felt different if they played where 3-point the game centered around the 3-point shot,
yeah, but
right?
also
Like
everybody.
often
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say like the Sonics offense definitely revolved around him, but it didn't necessarily revolve around him shooting threes on every possession.
So this is what I was gonna
Yeah.
say because go Google his dunks. The thing that was cool about Ray Allen was he would go to the cup hard.
Well, yeah, he'd
He's
come
not
off the
like a.
curl. He'd come
Yeah,
off the
he's.
traditional curl where he could either shoot it off the elbow or if he knew someone
He
was
was.
gonna come and do that, then
Yeah,
he'd just keep on going and just dunk it.
he has some
Yeah.
insane dunks all time.
Yeah.
In Seattle history, you take Kemp out of the list, and it's like Ray Allen's right up there with a couple other people.
It's just such a pretty jump shot too.
Yeah,
I just
and
he
he's Jesus Shuttlesworth,
yeah,
which is a
he
hard name to
he
say.
just would elevate. He'd have like the follow through. It just looked so
Yeah,
pretty.
it's incredible. Nice
Yeah.
pick.
I
Um,
mean, that's all I had left, right? Yeah.
well,
So
you have wild
two more
cards. You
two
have
more
wild cards now.
picks, yeah.
You have wild cards.
Yep.
It's hard for me to pick a sounder. Like, there's not really. I'm considering Clint Dempsey because that moment was such a big moment, but I mean, there's people like I'm picking Edgar.
Ah, that was next on my
How,
list.
Edgar's amazing. Like
Yeah.
again, you want to talk about iconic moments in my life, not just my sports watching life.
It's like top five, top three, besides no,
Yeah,
top
having
four.
kids, getting married,
That's three, and then
my
Edgar's
own
double.
coaching
Fourth.
accomplishments, whatever they may be.
Yeah.
Edgar's double.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
what else what else is there in life, Kev, than Edgar's double?
Yeah.
Oh, and I
Our
was there
podcast
live.
making it to 52
Our-
episodes.
There you go. It's in the top 10 for sure.
Okay. I got
I
two
should
more.
I should do more cool stuff. Wow.
I get two more. I mean, how
Good.
am I gonna get through this and not talk about Michael Penix? I know it was
I
very
knew
recent,
it.
but I had
Wait,
to
are you
do
gonna
it.
pick him?
I have to pick
Are
him.
you gonna
Like,
pick him?
there's no way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally picking him.
There's
He,
recency bias right there.
but I do think I got in an argument. I think he's the greatest high school football player of all time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he is. The only person that got as close to him in the Heisman race was Steve Emtman.
Yeah.
And there's no way. I think there's a credible argument that he had a better season than Jaden Daniels. I think Daniels had a soft schedule.
So I found a
Penix did
blog,
not.
Seattle on Tap. I'll give them a little plug.
Yeah,
And they have Penix fifth all time.
yeah.
Kaufman four.
Yeah, who you
Lincoln Kennedy three. He was an
Fair.
amazing offensive
Yeah.
lineman, but who's picking a lineman? Steve Emtman two, and they have Warren Moon number one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know that I would go Warren Moon number one.
I think part
you
of it
might
is-
be right.
I think part of it's the story, right? Like this is a dude that got injured, season-ending injuries 4 times. He comes in a
Yeah.
transfer and has a on the cusp season, right? Like lose 2 games, brilliant. He chooses to come back. Granted, he probably got paid a lot of money to come back,
Yep.
but then just has one of the best seasons ever. The probably no, not probably the best season ever by a Husky quarterback. I'm biased towards quarterbacks, but
No, you're
it's the
right.
most
And that's where the
important
Warren
position.
Moon thing is interesting. So there's a website called Ranker where it's like people can just rank
Yeah,
12. Well, let's see how many votes Warren Moon got. He's at like 529 votes. I don't know, a couple thousand people vote on here for Husky football. And Moon is one, Entman is two, Kaufman 3, Corey Dillon 4, Lincoln Kennedy, Buda Baker, Lawyer Malloy, then Penix. Warren Moon, Kev, it's hard to explain because I think you were a little past when this would have.
I mean, he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. I don't
No,
know.
this is what I was going to say
Yeah.
is when I'm growing up, like Warren Moon was the Husky.
Yeah.
My dad and his friends talked about. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
Sonny Six Killer and Warren Moon. What's crazy is, and I know it's a different era, but we're comparing a guy who threw for 11 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with Michael Penix. Like that's what Warren Moon did his last year at Washington. Why are we having this debate? I don't care what era we're in. Michael Penix
They made
is
it
a
to the
better
national
football player
championship. Yeah.
in not we don't know yet his
Yeah.
professional career, but as a Husky, absolutely. Good
Dude,
job.
yeah.
Kev, I'm with you. Good job.
He didn't have to even be a dual threat quarterback to be in this conversation. It's awesome. Okay. I'm really trying to be more explosive in how I'm speaking so the
Oh.
AI picks it up.
Oh, so you can be the clip that's aggregated?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It is funny that for people who don't know, they just randomly tell us, here's your 4 clips of the week. I'm like, that wasn't even that interesting of a thing. Now we have to post it on Instagram,
Yeah.
pretend like we really care about it. You're gonna pick Sean Alexander at some point. You love him. Wow, I'm pretty Mariner heavy. Like I want to pick another Mariner.
Yeah.
So I have Gary Payton, Sue Bird, Felix Hernandez, Marshawn Lynch, Sean Kemp, Napoleon Kaufman, Edgar Martinez. God, I love that. And the 2013 Seahawks. I'm just going to do it right now because I'm not sure what else to do. I'm going to take Lou Piniella.
There you go.
With all respect to Don James.
Yeah.
I mean, Lou Piniella is the manager of the 95 team and the 2001 team. Now, the 2001 team was so frustrating to me in the playoffs that I actually didn't watch when they got eliminated by the Yankees because I was so distraught as a sports fan, which I will never do again, by the way. Can I just pause to talk about this for a second?
This is our podcast.
Okay, sports fandom. It's sports fandom. It's important, I think, to talk about this. There's a time in my life where I would get so emotionally bothered by a team being bad or not living up to whatever expectations. The 2001 team fit into this because I really believed they were going to win the World Series. Why wouldn't you?
I mean, they won 116 games.
Exactly.
Of course.
So when and for context, the year before they lost to the Yankees in the ALCS.
Yes.
So there is and the Mariners are coming off of 2 other playoff runs in the last 6 years in that era, right? 97, severely disappointing. 95 was amazing. You get spoiled sort of, and I turned it off and I just couldn't watch the Mariners. I couldn't watch them lose. I was that distraught. And I've had that happen with other sports, and I'm not in the stage of my life where I do that anymore. So I have friends, and you go on Mariners Twitter right now in the middle of May, end of May, and there are some Mariners podcasters, I will not name them by names, who are such grumps. And they're just like, this is the worst team ever. The franchise sucks. They're cursed, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, just enjoy the game. It's a 162 game season. Munoz is going to blow something, The Seahawks, I don't get like up and down anymore. It's so much more fun if you're just like, I'm watching sports. I'm enjoying it. Of course, I get invested, but I refuse to turn it off because I feel like that's the switch that I don't want to go to. I want to experience the loss if they're going to lose. Like I want to experience the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just more mature.
Do you,
I don't
I
know.
mean, but do you enjoy the anxiety? Because the 2023 Huskies made me anxious.
Yeah,
Because
you're a bigger Husky fan than I am,
Yeah.
right? I could disassociate a little bit. I was
Yeah.
really into it. I mean, the game against Texas at the end when I felt like they almost blew it in the semi. I was on the ground like didn't they get who got the interception at the end? Elijah Jackson? Am I making that name up?
Yeah, no, that's correct.
That was awesome. I'll never feel as terrible as I felt in the 2014 Super Bowl. Sorry, 2015, technically, or whatever, against the Patriots. That was awful, but it's part of living to kind of go through that terribleness. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just the new me, but
Yeah.
so my point is the 2001 Mariners ruined me, but not forever. I watch the Mariners every day. I love them.
Yeah.
And Lou Piniella is my manager. Back to you.
Yeah. So I can actually pick a team.
No, no, you only get one team.
Oh, I can't pick a wild
You get
card
one
team.
team, one coach. Wild cards have to be athletes. And these are the rules that I made up.
Ah.
So also it's our podcast. You can just break the rules if you want. And what am I gonna do? But
Yeah. I mean,
you gonna break the rules?
no, 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 no. God, who do I
Do you
pick
need
with
some
that?
help like coming
No,
up
no,
with
no.
people?
I
Okay,
don't
okay.
need help.
I didn't mean that in like a condescending
Richard
way.
Sherman is my,
Ooh, let's
yeah.
go.
I just loved the fact that, and I don't know if I'll ever experience this again, but defensively, like I looked forward to that team to be on
Yes.
defense. And uh,
Yeah. How
I got,
often do you watch a football team where you're
yeah.
like, I can't wait for them to be on defense?
And it got to a point where when the quarterback would throw the ball, I watched so many games and so many plays where we'd be like, that looks like a pick.
Yeah.
And then when you would call it and say, that's a pick, and
Yeah.
then you'd see it happen, be like, I knew it. And it's like Richard Sherman knew about it 3 plays before, right?
Yeah.
Because all the stuff
He
that
was
came out
insane.
about the way he studied the game and everything and how cerebral he was, loved it. People have their opinions about him, how he was off the field, and
Right.
whether they liked it or not, and if he was a good teammate or not. It's easy to be a good teammate when you're hella good and people will put up with their BS, right? Like Sherman was awesome. Peak Sherman, God, it was just so good.
It was.
And he just had his personality. He played with his personality and it just showed. And he's just such a great player that epitomizes. I mean, Marshawn does too. So many guys of that team do. Like the type of coach Pete Carroll was, right?
Yeah.
Embracing the personalities, playing into strengths, etc. So Sherman's my last dude.
Okay. I'm gonna double down. I'm going Corey Dillon.
There you go. Multiple
I want
Huskies.
Corey Dillon and Napoleon Kaufman. Part of this is
And Marshawn, you're
it.
just handing the ball off.
Oh God, I just have some running backs. Okay, Corey Dillon. We've talked about it in the podcast before, but his quarter against San Jose State, where he ran for like 228 yards in the first quarter, there's just things he did that are legendary.
Yeah.
And part of this is a shout out. I gotta shout out one of my best friends in the world, Lewis, who listens to our podcast, regular listener, and he texts me about it all the time. His brother was playing linebacker. I think I've told this story before for Seattle Prep against Corey Dillon in Franklin High School.
I've never heard this.
Oh, okay. I think Corey Dillon comes in the second quarter, second half. I don't remember if he played the whole game or what was going on. They got the ball at the 4-yard line, something like that, Franklin. They hand off to Corey Dillon and Lewis's brother, Carlos, who's a linebacker, and he's a big dude. He's a kind of a prep linebacker, so he's not like an O'Day kid. He's not huge. But with the big old like early 90s pads or late 90s pads, and he meets Corey Dillon in the hole, and Corey Dillon absolutely trucks him, runs through him into the end zone for a touchdown. And I remember in high school being like, that guy's a dude. Then he goes to UW and he's
One hit wonder.
he's amazing.
Yeah. And
He's
had a great
amazing.
career.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Didn't he go to junior college before UW? Didn't he have to
Yeah.
go to junior college? I think he did.
Yeah.
And then he showed up at UW and he was unbelievable. Corey Dillon's my last dude. So, all right, we went a little. I think we ended up shorter, but I don't know if
Yeah.
we could keep picking people. So,
Yep.
okay, that's our list. Can I read them for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Kev, your list is you have Griffey and Ichiro from the Mariners. You have Russell Wilson and Richard Sherman to go with Pete Carroll. You have Ray Allen. You have Brandon Roy. You have Michael Penix. You have Lauren Jackson. And the 91 Huskies.
Sounds like someone my age.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
sounds pretty good.
Mine is going to sound like, well, I don't know if mine sounds like my age. Probably does. I have Corey Dillon, Marshawn Lynch, and Napoleon Kaufman at running back. I have Gary Payton and Sue Bird at point guard. I have Sean Kemp playing power forward. Edgar at DH. Felix Hernandez on the mound with the 2013 Hawks and Lou Piniella to round it out. So that's fun. That's our Seattle sports history teams of all time. We have a special top 5, and then we have a special segment to add on to our podcast here today.
It's a mega show.
We talked to our sisters
Yeah.
today. So top 5, we're going to do really quick, but it's going to be in the same era. So you can't pick someone on our top 100 all time.
Yes.
Okay. So shout out, go to our Substack and look at our top 100 list and yell at Kevin about it.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens.
And we finished it, what, like last?
It was like a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, not quite a year ago, but
like last summer.
Last summer.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you first pick.
Okay. Well, let's just go.
Drafting?
Why don't we just go? You give 5 and then I'll give 5.
All right.
Like 5 players not in the top 100 who represent sort of iconic Seattle sports to you.
Yeah.
And sorry, Huskies are not included in our top 100. It was professional only.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go with Cal Raleigh. Because
I will just tell you right now, he was first on my list.
Yeah, this is a future pick, right?
Yeah.
If we're
it's a now pick for us,
futures,
Kev.
right? Like Cal Raleigh was not on this list. I think I think he's in the top 100 now.
He's making the list, I think. Rufus Porter was number 100, who I actually was going to put on my list, but then I realized he was 100 because I love Rufus Porter.
Yeah.
But he's a 2-time Pro Bowler. So maybe Cal needs to make an All-Star game first, right?
Yeah, he will make the All-Star game.
Yes.
Jermaine Kearse is number 2 for me.
Oh,
I just felt that he was part of those amazing teams. Didn't put up the numbers, but who cares?
Yep.
Hometown guy. Just so much fun. He is not better than Lauren Jackson, as someone suggested on social media, but he is the top 5, the top 100. Number 3.
He did get an offensive rebound against Seattle Prep in the state semifinal basketball game that I was coaching in. I almost put Golden Tate on my list, by the way. Same era.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Brent Barry.
Oh, nice.
He kind of held the Sonics. He was one of the guards for the Sonics during, I'd say, like, kind of the Ray Allen. It was like he had some of Gary Payton and some of Ray Allen, I think. Also, he won a dunk contest randomly.
With a warm-up jacket on.
Yeah.
He's the only dude that wore the warm-up jacket and won a dunk contest.
Yeah.
He dunked from the free throw line.
Yeah. Brent Barry. So cool. God.
I don't know if he was so cool, but I like your pick.
Yeah. And there's the other thing is there's so many good closers in Mariners history. And I don't think this is recency bias. I think he was probably one of the best. It's Edwin Diaz. Like you could throw like
that's a good one. Yeah.
Like, Edwin Diaz was lights out.
Yeah, because Kaz Suzaki was number 74 on our list. 2-time All-Star selection.
And you need to have maybe like 2 to 3 seasons of good closing to kind of reach elite level status. I don't know if did Diaz have 3 great seasons with the Mariners? I don't know.
That's a tough one. You know, Andres Munoz is probably going to make his second All-Star team this year. And that's kind of an interesting one in terms of closers in Mariner history. We might have to save that for another episode.
Yeah.
But Edwin Diaz, 3 years in Seattle. He had 18 saves first year as a 22-year-old, 34 saves, and then 57 saves, tying the all-time mark.
Yeah.
He's only a one-time All-Star. So I think Munoz this year that 57 save season. Oh my God, Kevin, he had 124 strikeouts in 73 innings.
Yeah.
What an iconic season for Edwin Diaz. I love that pick. Okay,
so I think these are guys with like just kind of
I love it. These are great
stints.
These are so good. Yeah.
Ooh.
One more.
5th one. Kind of on the same thing with closers. I think of kickers. This is kind of nuts.
No, you're not picking a kicker.
I'm picking a kicker.
A Seahawk kicker?
Jason Myers, man.
Oh, I think we're going to go Steven Hauschka.
Surprisingly?
Hausch money.
Only played
Steven Hauschka was the kicker in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I mean, he played 96 games. God.
Jason Myers is the most wild pick
Actually,
of all
no,
time.
I'm going to change my pick to Hauschka.
You just have to have a kicker?
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is perfect wait for Seattle content.
Hauschka?
Kev being like, you know what I need in my top 5? Not top 100 all time, but just the next tier of guys I love.
Okay,
I need a
okay,
kicker. No, I'm
okay.
not done. I'm not done. I need a kicker. And then you're like, Jason Myers, I'm all in. Just kidding.
Hauschka.
Hauschka. You
All
could
right,
have just switched to a different athlete.
here's my argument for Hauschka. Best kicker of all time in Seahawks history.
You were
88.
just ready to tell me Jason Myers was.
Okay. I was looking at the amount of games guys played. Josh Brown, 80 games. Jason Myers, 100 games. Stephen Hauschka's 96 games. Like, for some comparison, Blair Walsh lasted one season, 16
Ooh.
games. Janikowski lasted a season, 16
Oh,
games.
Janikowski. Do you think if we ranked the best Seattle kickers of all time, anyone would read it?
The kickers would, and their families.
All right, I'm giving you my list. You're done. You don't get to talk about kickers anymore.
Go ahead.
Cal Raleigh's on my list. So
Yep.
I already said that one.
Yep.
Desmond Mason, who you reminded me of recently. Desmond Mason and his dunks. He's just a guy. This goes with my Vibes team that I picked earlier.
Yeah.
I loved him. Franklin Gutierrez. I have the jersey. Got to be on the list for me.
Yeah. Death to flying things.
Death to Flying Things. What a great nickname, by the way. Death to Flying Things. Unbelievable. Loved
Yeah.
Franklin Gutierrez. The next two, I have to put Jim Presley on my list. I don't actually even love Jim Presley, but in 1989, when I had a Snow King baseball card with my picture on it, because that's what we all got, it said on the back, my favorite athlete was Jim Presley. So I got to do it. I mean,
God, Seattle
I
sports
loved
has
him.
come such a long way.
Yeah. Well, Griffey was a rookie like that year or the next year. So Jim Presley had a short stint in my life, but it was big. And then the fifth one is Ken Hamlin. Safety for
Cameron
the
Hamlin,
Seahawks.
yes.
Oh my God. Ken Hamlin used
Did he
to
have
just
a gap
Ken Hamlin before, I don't know what that means. Did he have a gap?
in his teeth? Did he have a gap?
Maybe. I don't know. But before Cam Chancellor, there was Ken Hamlin. That dude, I saw him. I don't know the guy's name, but it was a Saints game. And I'm going to shout out my buddy Lewis again. We used to have Seahawks season tickets together. I don't know if I ever told you this, Kev. We went to the NFC Championship against the Panthers. So we went to all the 2005 games. Ken Hamlin took a man's helmet off, and I thought his head came off in, I think, his rookie year. That guy had a short stint of the Seahawks, but he destroyed people. And Lewis just got his jersey. Speaking of jerseys, I think Lewis and I should go somewhere with my Franklin Gutierrez and his Ken Hamlin jersey, and I think people would love us. It'd be great. There you go.
God.
You're
I'm
watching
just
Ken
reading.
Hamlin highlights?
I'm reading about his 2005 altercation.
Oh, is it pretty? It's pretty ugly.
2 a.m. nightclub. Witnesses said that another man hit Hamlin twice with a street sign.
Oh yeah. Oh my
He
God.
had a fractured skull, small blood clot, and bruising of the brain tissue.
That's right.
And then the Seahawks released him.
That
did
was
not play
that was a
football.
tough
It was
way.
October.
God, wow, way to really go on a downer.
I'm so
Well,
sorry.
Thanks,
Great
Kev.
pick, though. Great.
Next up, our sisters.
True.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll be back to regular Seattle sports content, but for those of you that are still sticking with us, which why wouldn't you after a year? Our sisters, we had a fun time talking to them about Seattle sports and their memories, and a little bit of making fun of both of us. So stick around for that.
Yep. All right. To celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the Wait for It Seattle podcast, we brought on our biggest fans, our sisters.
Is that true? I mean, it would be awesome if our
I
sisters.
hope. Yeah.
were-
Well, one of these people told me that they listen to the podcast, but it puts them to sleep. So I don't know if that's a good thing. But we've gotten, I don't know, positive feedback.
We're really selling it. We're really selling
Caroline
it.
said my voice is annoying at one point, several points.
Didn't your wife also say that? Anyway,
No.
here we go.
Sometimes it's kind of
Christine
jarring.
wouldn't know because she doesn't listen to the podcast.
Oh, dang.
Yikes. Sometimes it's kind of jarring because I'm like listening to the daily, and then like all of a sudden he's like, Like Kevin's voice pops up. I'm like, whoa.
The Daily does have some sultry tones. Like they got some
Yeah.
good deep
Yeah.
voices. Yeah. Well, Kev, do you want to introduce your two sisters and I'll introduce mine?
Yes.
Why don't we do that?
Yes. So we got Caroline here, and she lives in San Diego. Fun fact about Caroline is I think she might have been the shortest player ever to play in the state basketball tournament.
Wow. I think a more fun fact is that Caroline was once the freshman basketball coach at Seattle Prep for me when I was the head basketball coach. That's a cooler connection, Kev.
We didn't lose. I don't think we lost a single game.
Yeah.
That year.
You went undefeated?
Coaching.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yep.
And then I got my older sister, our older sister, Courtney. I'm trying to come up with a fun fact about Courtney that's sports related.
There is none.
You did win a CYO championship at St. Anthony's when you were in 7th grade?
Nope, we came in second.
Oh,
And that was in 8th grade. I won a kickball underdog championship
Let's go.
okay,
in
there you go.
2012, maybe
That's great.
13.
All right, so that
there.
wasn't second place, that was first place. So
Yeah.
Courtney did not coach freshman basketball for me ever, but the invitation is open if I ever go back to coaching.
Oh God.
My sister is also here, Caitlin, who is a Seattle Prep tennis legend. Fair, Caitlin? No?
That's it's kind of you to say. I don't think winning 2 JV championships back-to-back years makes me a legend, but I'll make it known here.
Let me tell you, on this podcast, athletically, it makes you a legend.
A champ is a champ.
A champ is a champ.
yeah.
A champ is a champ.
I got second place in Metro mixed doubles my senior year.
Yeah,
That's
they had
pretty
to
good.
they had to eliminate that because she was so good. It's not even around anymore.
Did you ever win any Metro thing as a player, Brian?
Thank you for bringing this up.
It depends. It depends what you include as a player, right?
Were you like on a team or a relay? Or...
Well, my state boys tennis team won state 3 years
There
in a
you
row.
go.
I'm on the roster. I have a Hall of Fame medal, no big deal.
Okay.
But did I contribute any points? Absolutely not. So there you go. All right. Well, segueing to our sisters. Let's start with if we could go around. Let's go Caitlin, Caroline, Courtney in that order to start, just for clarity. Favorite Seattle sports memory? Anything? Just your favorite one?
I was in 4th grade when they won the play-in game, the refuse to lose season. And my teacher had a TV in the classroom and she let us watch it. And that was a pretty big deal. And then that was the year that Brian got to go to all those games with our dad. And they let me go to one. And it was the one they won in the series after the Yankees. So I have that claim to fame. Brian didn't get to see them win any of those playoff games in that round. So
I think I've talked about it on this podcast. Bob Wolcott pitched for the Mariners against Cleveland. Caitlin went. They won. They did not win another game at home. And the play-in game that she speaks of that she watched on television, I actually got a ticket to that. But because we didn't have cell phones then, because I'm that old, I couldn't text my mom to say, can I go? And then I got home from school and she said, oh, you totally could have gone. It would have been fine. You could skip school and go to that. I was like, no. So I didn't go to the game.
So I always wondered like how other families deal with like who gets to go to the game, right?
well,
And sometimes I just assumed like I was entitled to go to games, but then I'm sure other people on this call probably maybe felt left out at different points or like so I'm glad that both of you got a piece of the 1995 playoffs though.
We did.
That's good.
yeah.
Wow. I was only 3 years old, so
Okay, well, we don't, Kevin, come on.
Let's move on. Caroline, what's yours?
It was the 2013 Seahawks Super Bowl, but I can't. We had just won, and I remember all of my like classmates were blowing up my phone to ask if we could get the day off school to go to the parade. This was not my doing, but it felt like I was because I had a direct line to Stearns.
Mm.
So I
Oh.
remember texting him and being like, "So do we get a day off tomorrow?" And he was like, "Oh, for the parade." And I was like, "Yeah, is that possible?" And he was like, "Sure." And like I don't think that that was like my doing whatsoever. I think he was just playing along with it to make it seem like I was the MVP
Nice.
of getting class off. But yeah, going to that parade and getting classes off, that was pretty sweet. And then I remember Brian Mack was on the news because he had Skittles. He had a bag of
Mm-mm.
Skittles, and there's like a shot of him on like either Cairo or Como, and it was just him like I don't know, sprinkling Skittles all over him, and his mouth was like wide open. He was like trying to catch all. It was
Oh my
crazy,
That's
gosh.
amazing.
but yeah, that was
Did
fun.
everyone on this call go but me?
I,
I didn't go.
I was in my first year of teaching and didn't feel, or second year, and watched it with a bunch of. We were actually supposed to have a field trip that day of the parade at
Oh,
Dana, Brian's wife's work, and all the parents kind of pressured me to cancel it so they could take their kids to the parade.
Mhm.
And then do you remember it was so cold that day?
Oh, so cold.
None of them ended up taking their kids, so I
Yeah.
was stuck with
freezing.
22 second graders watching the parade.
Caroline, I have two parts for you, and it's related to what Caitlin said in Kevin's question. Caroline, I think I was the first faculty member to email the principal and say, I'm not coming to school. I'm taking a personal day. Whatever it was, I'm going to the parade. And I learned later, it's not our current principal. The principal was upset and didn't know why I would want to miss school. And then it snowballed a little bit to more faculty doing it. And so whether it was a combo of you, me, whoever, we got that day off school. So to Kevin's point, I did go with Dana and both boys, and the boys were young. Felix was like 6 months old, and it was so cold. It was
Oh
like,
my
I
gosh.
don't know, what was it, 30, 29 degrees, whatever it was. It felt really cold. And we were out there for a long time. And I actually went home before the parade started. We went to the parade 4 hours, not 4 hours, but like for a couple hours, and it was too cold for our kids. Like we were worried they were going to get sick or freeze. And so we went home. Um, and we didn't actually see the parade. So we saw all the people and got ready for it, but didn't actually see the parade. It's
Love how
really sad.
you took a
That's
personal
funny.
day.
Well, I didn't have to. School
Oh
got
yeah, yeah,
canceled.
yeah,
We
yeah.
got
I was
canceled.
ready to take a personal day. Very different.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Courtney,
Nice.
favorite memory.
I think mine's probably the most recent. I was actually with Caroline and Brett, and we went to the game where the Mariners got into the playoffs for the first time since, what was it? 2000?
One.
No,
One.
Yeah.
since 2001.
2001. Yeah.
And Cal Raleigh hit that bomb, and
Yeah.
later that night, I think, or maybe it was like the next day, I found out that I was pregnant with Ezra.
Oh, wow.
And we were he just came home. It was just like kind of like a quintessential Seattle moment. Everybody was just so happy, and like we went out and like music was playing and everybody was like high-fiving. It was a really good time.
Let's
right.
go back. So reverse order. We'll go Courtney, Caroline, Caitlin in order. And we're going to do favorite current Seattle sports team and favorite current Seattle sports athlete. They don't have to be, the athlete doesn't have to be on the team.
I think it's still gonna be Julio and the Mariners.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard to
Kind of a
beat.
basic answer, but
No, it's hard to beat. He's, as my youngest son would say, he has great aura. So
he's great, Aura. Yeah.
we were debating NBA players and whether they had aura tonight. So, which I think indicates I don't have aura. All right, Caroline, you're up.
You have aura, Brian.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Current, like favorite current.
Current favorite Seattle sports team can be colleges included, and favorite current Seattle sports athlete.
Okay, let's see. This is tough. I'll go with I'll go with the Seattle Storm. I'm trying to figure out Current favorite player. So Seattle Storm, and then I'll do, I don't know, I'm trying to pick somebody other than Julio.
I mean, you can go Julio.
Just
It can be
all
a
of them.
family affair. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I love J-Ron. I'll
Yeah.
go with J-Ron.
Perfect. Caitlin, where are you?
Player, I'm going to pick Cal Raleigh.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just think, how can you not love him and also like him embracing the nickname Big Dumper so wholeheartedly? And then team, this is not because I like care about anyone on the team, but I'm going to say Kraken because I think the experience of going to a Kraken game is very fun, and I think even though maybe they're not performing as well as we'd like them to in this, it's fun to have a hockey team.
Yeah.
And shout out to the Kraken. They gave away free tickets to teachers, and they were very good seats. And I just think that's awesome. And I think they did it because they weren't playing very well and they needed to fill the seats, but I'll take it. It was fun.
Caitlin is much more social and outgoing than I am, and she gets great tickets to the Kraken all the time. Through friends, through I don't know how she does it. It's amazing. She has taken me on great tickets before. It's been awesome. So, yeah, it is a great experience. Kev, what's your current favorite Seattle sports team and favorite athlete?
Oh,
I mean, it's got to be the Washington Husky football
the
team.
Washington Huskies football team is my favorite team. My favorite athlete, I'd probably go with Jonah Coleman.
Oh, I thought you
I
were
just-
going to go Damon Williams.
No, I love
Not yet.
Jonah Coleman. He's like a 4.0 student. He's just a happy guy. Now he's got muscles. I was reading about his
What is happening?
I was reading about the nutrition program on Christian Cable's website.
Of course you were.
And he has
Look at Caroline's
Chipotle
face right now.
once a week. And now I have his Chipotle order. So I have his Chipotle order and I have Roma Dunze's Chipotle order.
This is so great.
Why order my own things when I can order Husky Legend Chipotle orders?
Yeah.
That is so good.
Have you seen, this came across my TikTok. It just reminded me that like you're eating people's orders.
Yeah.
There's this guy who researches what presidents eat, like ate. Yeah, it's fascinating. I was
So
like,
does he have like old people from like the 40s and 30s and their diets?
like Abraham Lincoln. Like he did like William Taft's like entire like
Probably a lot.
thing.
Wow,
Yeah,
with that one.
he like
So does he eat
Jeez.
this stuff?
yeah, he ate it. So he ate like William Taft's like breakfast every day was like 4 waffles and a 12-ounce steak and
My God.
and like a half a grapefruit. And like he just like goes out throughout the day and then like at the end he's like, okay, well this is what I ate and like this is how I feel.
I
And he
love this.
yeah, and he did Biden's and like he was like it's been reported that like he has like 6 orange Gatorades every day.
So what they should do
Orange
is honestly like
Gatorades.
make you do the
Oh my
diet
God.
and then you have to make then you have to simulate the decisions that a president would make every day.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Gross.
Wow.
Kev,
I'll find that handle.
if I had used Courtney's information when I taught you, you would not have fallen asleep in my U.S. history class as you
not
did
at all.
daily.
Not at all.
Still the only student who consistently falls asleep in my class.
Yep, and maybe your best
Oh my
student.
gosh.
Yeah, well, you did win the National
Speaking of
History Day.
accomplishments, yeah. Speaking of accomplishments.
That's right.
Final question, or do we have
Yeah,
more?
I have one
Okay,
more, and
one more.
and this comes from my wife Dana, who said this was her quote, not mine. She said, "I feel like sometimes as a woman, this is the question I would want to ask." I said, "Okay, great." And it's not that deep, but which team do you wish you had more time to know about? Maybe it's specific to my wife, like feeling like she wishes she had more time, but as a mom and just in her life, I don't know. So she's like, which team in Seattle sports do you wish you had more time to know about? I like that question. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Let's go Caroline first, and then Courtney, and then Caitlin, just to mix up the order.
I would say I would like to know. What was the question? More time to
Which
know.
team in Seattle, like if you had more time, you're like, you know what, I'd like to know more about that team. I'd like to maybe root for that team, but I don't watch them that much, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm in between the Kraken and the Sounders.
Hmm.
I'll say the Kraken because I've never seen a Kraken match before, but
Yeah.
I did watch my first Sounders game.
You can call it a match if you want. It's fine. That's actually great evidence that you need to spend more time with
Is
the
it not a
Kraken.
match?
No, I
Is
don't
it a
think so.
game?
I think it's just a game.
Just a game.
Wait,
But
Yeah.
I did
Kaylin,
watch
you've
my
been to
first
more
Sounders match.
games/matches. Are
I
they?
didn't even bat an eye when she said match. I thought that
Okay.
sounded good.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, I don't
We're all
think
hockey novices here. It's great.
Brian knows I'm not going for the sports. I'm going for the social aspect, as he pointed out. So
The vibes.
yeah,
What
exactly.
is I don't even know what the vibe is like at a crack or a
It's
hockey game.
great. I agree with Caitlin. It is awesome. It is
It's
maybe
energetic.
it's the best. I still think it's the best live sporting
Mhm.
experience in Seattle.
Two
It's awesome.
intermissions is key, I think, too. It really allows for,
I'd agree.
yeah, more
Good
social time.
mingling.
Also, they
Yeah.
have. Sorry, this is a random anecdote, but I'm going to share it anyways. I was at a Kraken
Shocking.
game at San Jose in San Jose. There's a Kraken fan in front of me, and he had a hockey stick, but it was like fillable with beer.
Mm.
And I went
Oh
up,
my God.
I like tapped him. I was like, "Hey, how much was that?" He's like, "Yeah, $20." But he goes, "The secret is to just bring your own from. This is not from this game. This is from a prior game." And I just bought all these tall boys, and I've just been refilling this all match, or all game. And then he started asking me about specific players, and then I couldn't say anything because
Also, I have two things. I wish I had it with me now. I have a bat that's this big from Miller Park in Milwaukee that I bought for the same purpose. But also, why did that guy bring it? He's still buying the beers. That's just annoying. He's filling up his dick and he's not saving any money.
yeah.
Well,
It's-
What's he
maybe
it's
doing?
the
No, no,
vibe.
no, no, no.
That's
Yeah,
The vibe.
the
It's
vibe.
vibes. Sorry, it's vibes. It's vibes. It's vibes.
I
right.
I have one from the South Bend Cubs.
That's right.
From one of my summers in South Bend, and we gave up on finding them and had just all bought like our last beer for the night and then found the station, and you had to buy beer to put in it. So I think
Yeah.
we gave the beers away, and I had to have it. And then
Yeah.
I don't, same thing. I don't know if it ever made it back with me.
I mean, I definitely have it. I feel like it's a bad look with my kids if I pull it out on just a Tuesday and fill it up with beer.
It's almost summer. You can.
Thank you. Good point. All right. Courtney, which Seattle sports team do you wish you had more time to know about?
Probably the Storm.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to be a better Storm supporter. So
It's a
Yeah.
good time to get on board. They
it
are,
is. Yeah.
well, by the time this airs, it could be a bad time. Who knows? As of our recording, it's a good time. Caitlin, what
Yeah.
about you?
Mine is the Seahawks because after all those years of the Legion of Boom and they would win all the time and we were watching all the games, I just feel like I don't know who's on the team. I don't know who anyone is. So and I don't watch the games as much because they're not as good. So I feel like I'd like to know more about the Seahawks, the current Seahawks.
Do you have a jersey, Caitlin, a Seahawks jersey?
I had a Russell Wilson jersey, of course.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what to do with it.
I have one
and
too.
I feel
I
like
don't either.
everyone in Seattle is like stuck in this like waiting for a good player to come back so we can get a Seahawks jersey. But the casual fan was never gonna go buy a Geno Smith jersey or
No.
a Jake Bobo jersey. I don't know. I mean, do you guys have
Definitely not
fan-
buying a Jake Bobo.
Yeah.
I know someone who bought a Jake Bobo jersey.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow.
It's a family nickname, and actually one of our friends told her like he's never going to make the team. You're not going to have a chance to buy the jersey, and then he ended up making the team and having a jersey.
There you
So
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Nice.
This goes to my wife's theory that you shouldn't buy jerseys of current players. And she's proven to be right. When I bought my Franklin Gutierrez jersey and I told her, nope, this is a great Christmas present. He's going to be on the team forever. And it was 2 years later, he was gone because of IBS of all things. Franklin Gutierrez. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
That was a
really?
rough one. That was a rough
Why?
one.
Wait, did he stop playing baseball?
He like had complications to the point that he couldn't like perform well enough to
Oh.
keep playing. He
Well,
fought through it for a while, but yeah.
but I think that's better than if he left to another team.
He went to other
For
teams where
sure.
maybe they
Oh.
had better
Better medical care?
or
Ah.
toilets. I don't know. That's terrible. I love Franklin Gutierrez, but I have a Gutierrez, I have a Russell Wilson. What am I gonna do with these? But
Yeah.
anyway, right before we go, because I want Caitlin to answer this for sure, and so we'll see what everybody's answer is. Did you have a sports poster on your wall in your room when you were a kid? Caitlin, go first.
I sure did. Uh, t- Total surprise to everyone on this call. I'm sure I had an Emmett Smith Dallas Cowboys poster.
I knew that was the answer. Let's go.
My cousin and aunt and uncle lived in Dallas, and I think they sent it to me one year. I don't know what their thought process was, because
So good.
I think they also sent me cowboy boots that year. But yeah, I just put it up, of course, because someone gave it to me, so I had to have it up. So yeah.
Fun fact:
Nice.
Martell Webster of Seattle Prep and Portland Trail Blazers fame once called me the White Emmett Smith. He thought I looked like him.
Oh my God.
Fun fact:
Nice.
Emmett Smith's son went to LMU.
Oh,
So on his Instagram last year, he was like full on in LMU gear. Greatest running
How
back of
funny.
all time. Yeah.
oh, not the greatest running back of all time, but we'll talk about that at a different
Walter
time.
Payton is.
Okay, Kev. Courtney, go ahead. Did you have a sports poster on your wall growing up?
Yes, Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, that's awesome.
I loved Alex Rodriguez. I had a book. I think like my parents got me like some sort of like Alex Rodriguez like gift thing, like gift basket. Like my dad probably won it in a raffle or something. It was like there was a poster, and then there was also like a picture book, and then there was a plaque of Alex Rodriguez. And then like it would sit on my dresser, and there was a card insert. You could put like his
Mhm.
card, his rookie card in there. Had it on my dresser for the longest time. But yeah,
Love it.
Alex
I love it.
Rodriguez.
What could have been with A-Rod? Caroline, did you have a sports poster growing up?
Yeah, I feel like I always had at least a Seattle Storm poster. Felt like a lot of people knew that I was really into basketball, and so they would bring me to the Seattle Storm games, and they always had the team poster, like
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
when you get into the arena for the first time. It's like your gift, your takeaway.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guys had that.
Well, we thank you guys for coming on the 1 year anniversary episode.
Thanks for having
In
us.
all sincerity, Kevin and I are doing this for fun. Kevin thinks we can make money. I don't believe it. Or at least have a sponsor to give us free tickets. We do it for fun, but we greatly appreciate all three of you listening and the love and support you have for us. So thank
Also
you.
telling people about it too. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. I was trying to
Totally.
be sincere. Kevin was just
Yeah.
marketing again, like usual.
Never stop, Kevin. Never quit.
Yeah.
Every time Kevin calls me, I always know that it's going to be something about the podcast or Seatown Sports. And it's always like a task or a favor.
Okay,
Oh my
well,
God.
maybe the goal for this week, Kev, is to call your sister Caroline. Just check in, see how she's doing. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on.